How did you first meet Terry?
He arrived on the doorstep here.
Do you remember when Terry first floated the idea of the Discworld books to you?
Yes.
Can you talk us through how that happened?
Well, he produced 4 short stories. The contract for the book is in fact for a collection of 4 short stories. It's not for a novel. And that's dated 1981.
And were people annoyed that he hadn't fulfilled his contract?
No. No, we sold to St Martin's Press in the States, and we printed over there. I got the book set over here, and then sent them a camera copy. And I mean, because the library market had been contracting so much here, I only printed 506 copies. 500 was supposed to be. Hence the values of these particular copies. And it was typeset. We had a magnificent typesetter who was so bloody good she only made 4 mistakes in the entire book. That was worrying. I thought that I was missing some errors, but I wasn't. It just was. She was bloody good at it. The light fantastic was inevitable in order to sort of complete it. And equal rights came along very easily after that. And at about that time, if my memory serves me, Terry had also been thinking of another science fiction series called what he was calling the Long Earth series, about parallel worlds. And he'd written 2 short stories and 2 versions of one of them, and the beginning of a long novel which was going to be set. But we had discussions as to whether we felt that there was any more mileage, how much more mileage there was in Discworld, and decided that probably there was a little more, 1 or 2 maybe, but there was never any concept that it was going to go on for as many as it has. I mean, he's always had such a wonderful imagination, and able to put things together in a way. I remember in Strata there was a period where I thought there was a scene shift which was too abrupt, and I said, I just need 2 or 3 sentences just to do this. And he sat down, typewriter, and just typed out, because of the age of typewriters, a page and a half. And I cannot now work out where those pages and a half are in that book. It's such a seamless dropping in of that text. Terry's discovery that he'd got Alzheimer's suddenly, as it were, catapulted him into a position which he hadn't expected. He found that he was having to answer questions for the press and so on, and particularly when after he had, who'd never been shown much interest in him as before for the books, but here was news, and particularly when he gave $1 million to Alzheimer's Research Trust, that sort of stirred things up not a little, and so there have been questions of interviews from all over the place. Today's News of the World. There was a request which came through Wednesday. Would he prepare to do it? And he's basically prepared to do anything which would be catching the national interest, I think is the best way of putting it. There are dozens and dozens of local people who would love him to come along and talk to them, but where's the time? It's difficult enough for him to write as it is, so he's basically being restricted to dealing with those areas where he can actually communicate to millions of people. just before he left for America, I rang him about lunchtime. He said, "I've so far been able to write one half of a line today," and that's from somebody who really likes to do 400 or 500 words a day.